Good morning, folks, and welcome to Discover Your Future. Now, today we're launching Pathways, and to kick off with Pathways, we're going to introduce Karis Theopane to talk a little bit more about her fantastic career and all of her amazing work. So, Karis, let's bring you on.
Hi, guys. Good morning, Year 10. This is a little bit weird because this is the moment where I go, good morning, Year 10. And you guys are supposed to say, good morning. And then it's usually a bit dead because it's the morning and you haven't had breakfast and you don't really want to be at school. So I say it again, good morning, Year 10. And then you guys say, good morning. So I'm hoping right now you guys are saying good morning. Let's try it out. Good morning, Year 10. So I'm just going to pretend that I got a good morning. Hope you guys are good. Thank you guys for coming. Welcome. Thank you for having me. My name is Karis Theopane. I live in London. I'm a bit bugged of COVID that I'm not actually physically there with you guys, but we'll just make this work. Just work with us. We'll make this work. And today I'm here to speak to you guys about Pathways. And I'm just going to do that by sharing a bit of my story. Now I talk a lot and we've only got 20 minutes. So we've got a lot to get through in 20 minutes. So I just want to see where we're all at to start with. So the first slide, I want you to look at the red dot and tell me what happens to the blue line. So if you focus on the red dot, just the red dot, what happens to the blue line? And if any of the teachers could just like quickly tap it in the chat so I know that somebody somewhere got it, then that'd be great. If you're really, really focusing, something should be happening to the blue line. If you're sat there going, no, nothing's happening to the blue line, it's because you're not actually focused. So I'll spend a couple more seconds. Did anybody get it? All right. So if you look at the red dot and you're focused on the red dot, the blue line should disappear. It does. It actually disappears. Try again. Complete zoned in focus, the blue line disappears. And I guess the reason why I use this is because it's a bit like life. When you focus on the things you're supposed to focus on, the things that are noisy, the distractions, they disappear. So I'll start by telling you guys a bit about where I'm at now, and then we'll go back to how I got there. So the next slide is just a picture of me and my girls. Basically, in 2016, I launched a company. I said I was working with young people, really passionate about motivating young people, and I wanted to do more. So I quit my job in the youth offending team, and I started a girls project. So the second image on the second slide, you guys will see a picture of me with the girls, and that picture is Drake's concert at the O2. Actually, when Drake come to London, we got free tickets to go to the concert. But basically, when I was in that position, I was working with the girls every week, doing great things, great events, and it was all about building motivation, building confidence, and kind of just stepping into your own. At that time, I kind of wasn't really sure where I was going with the company, what I was doing, but I knew that my heart and my passion was working with young people. So I just stuck it out and I was like, look, I'm just going to stick it out. I wasn't making any money at the time. I went from like really good money to zero money, but I had passion. And for me, that was enough. And so the next slide, you guys know this guy. I'm sure you all do know this guy. And why is he in there? Because the next slide is the next part of my pathway. So basically, when I launched my business, I got to a stumbling block. I didn't know what I was doing. It was really hard when you approach schools, for schools to book you in this kind of way, for you to come in and run workshops and do all of that kind of stuff. So I joined a team called Fix Up at the time, and they were a team of amazing people, presenters that go around to schools, colleges and unis and motivate the students. I'm sure some of you may have had somebody from Fix Up at some point come into one of your schools and do a speech of some nature. And Michael was my partner. So me and Michael would tour. We would like literally leave London, get up early in the morning, travel to schools, motivate students and leave. And we did that for like about a year, maybe like 2 years, about 2 years. And in between this time, he wasn't the guy that you guys see today. So he was just the guy with the dream, right? He was like, Karis, I want to do rap. I want to do this. I want to do that. And we used to sit down on the train like for hours, just going through different things. And none of us, not even him, could imagine a moment like that when like Big Shaq came to life and he blew up the internet and he went viral. That was an amazing moment, not just for him, but for all of us who were working with him. Because I think actually what that said at that moment was, if you put your best foot forward, anything can happen. And anything that's going to happen is going to be great for you. So the reason I share that is because I didn't always start off at greatness. I mean, we'll go down to the next slide. And the next slide was, after I'd been touring for a bit, I felt like I wasn't fulfilled. So I'd come and see you guys, and I'd only get like 20 minutes to an hour, and we would share and we would interact, and then I'd leave, and I would leave feeling like maybe I motivated a student, but it wasn't enough. You want to speak more, you want to share more, you want to learn more. And it just wasn't enough for me. It wasn't working out. And at the time, my dad, he's a chef. And so I'd always had this vision of us starting a food business. I had no idea. I couldn't cook, nothing. But I was like, look, he's a chef. I'm going to buy a food truck and we're going to have a food business. So the red image that you see is the food truck that I bought when I first bought it. So this was an old 16-seater minibus, which they converted into a truck. And inside they'd built in like a grill, an oven and all this stuff so you can cook. So I bought the bus, red, how it was. Blacked the bus out because I was a bit like, what are we going to do? And 2018, you can see a nice picture there with some graffiti. That was Jerk Grill. So we launched a company, we launched a business, Jerk Grill. Went to different events, carnival, like we just did absolutely amazing stuff all year, found a pitch and started coming out every day and trading. I'll go to the next slide because within a year, and again, guys, I can't cook. So this was me and my family, had Papa Chef, had my sister and everyone helping out. A year later, we got too busy cooking in mum's kitchen. Kitchen was too small and it was just too much stress on pressure on the family. So we were looking for a kitchen and God blessed me with this place. So not only was it a kitchen, we were able to turn it into like a little restaurant / cafe type of place. And if you scroll to the next image, those are just a few of the dishes that we serve. So I can happily say that I cooked everything in that plate. When I rocked up at that place, I couldn't cook at all. But my Papa Chef said he's not going there because it's too far. Now, I don't know if any of you like know Jamaican old men, but he said, me nah go at me too far. So maybe you understood he's not going, it's too far. So I spent a week in the kitchen, wrote down every single recipe, and then just went out and practiced. And honestly, I feel sorry for anyone who came and purchased food off me in the first 3 months because my rice was a mess and it was an absolute mess. But here we are, 2 years later, I've signed a lease. We have the place for 3 years and I continue to go. Now, I don't come here this morning to say to you guys, oh, look, you can have your own business. It's easy. The reason I share that with you guys is because I'm finally in a place now where I know what I'm passionate about and I know what it is that I want to do and I'm actually doing it. And so I feel like the most successful person on the planet, literally, because I don't work. I get up every day and I go and do the very thing that I love. And even though the cooking wasn't necessarily my thing, the people and everything else, I've just completely grown to love it. But it didn't start that way. I mean, you guys are year 10 now, and I wouldn't have had the privilege of watching a conversation like this because I got kicked out of school when I was in year 9. I had a really bad attitude, but I had an A-star ability in terms of my academics. And coming to school, I would get caught up with my friends. I just had a really bad attitude. I'm sure some of you sitting there right now are like, yeah, this you, yeah, I see you, boo-boo. You got the bad attitude. And my bad attitude got me kicked out of school. But at that point, I can be honest and say that I knew I had to turn it around. And so I didn't go back to another school and I didn't go to a PRU, like a pupil referral unit where they send the bad kids, because I felt like if I went there, I was just going to become bad. And so I did like a little course for a bit and then went to college. When I went to college, I did business studies because I didn't have any GCSEs. So I remember rocking up to enrollment like, yeah, I met a mentor, Janice, and she was like, Karis, you can go to college. So I rocked up to the college like, yes, I'm going to do my GCSEs and this is going to help set me up for life. And I remember on the first day of enrollment, I walked in and I was like, yeah, join the queue. I was first in the queue. Can I sign up for GCSE program? And they said the program's full. And I was like, what do you mean? This is the first day of enrollment. I'm like, first in the queue, what's going on? They were like, no, the program went out ages ago, it's full. And I remember just being like, huh? And everyone was like, it's full, excuse me, next. Now, even though I have a lot of attitude, in that moment, I cried. I just literally went in the corner and I sat there crying. Because in that moment, I was like, I've been kicked out of school. Here I am, I've found a path, which is what they tell me I'm supposed to do. And they don't have any space. What am I actually going to do? For me, I was mortified. I was like, I can't sit here for another year. Like, what am I going to do? I'm turning 15. This is absolutely ridiculous. And so I called my mentor, Jan. I was just crying down the phone, sobbing. I was like, Jan, like, you know, when you're really crying and like the bogey's coming out, that kind of cry, yeah. Jan, they won't let me join the GCSE program. Anyway, Jan just said, Karis, have a look at one of the other courses and see if there's something else you might enjoy. So I sat down, I looked through the prospectus and I joined the intermediate business program, which is the equivalent of, I guess, a business BTEC, as you guys might know it. I joined the business BTEC because in my mind, I looked and I realized that if I did the business BTEC, it was equivalent to 4 GCSEs. Yeah. So in my mind, I said, cool. If I can do the business BTEC, which is equivalent to 4 GCSEs, the 4 GCSEs is essentially what I would have needed, plus maths and English, to later on go on and do A levels. So I did the business, youngest in the class, aced it with a merit. It was amazing. I really enjoyed it because even though I'd been kicked out of school, what I knew about myself at that time was that I was an independent learner. So I knew that it was my duty and my responsibility to fully be present in that moment at college and learn whatever it was that I needed to get me to where I was going to get to. I wasn't stuck with, oh, I've been kicked out, I'm going to be nothing. I just knew now it was important that the decisions I make are the decisions that's going to help get me to where I want to get to. So after doing the intermediate business, I went on to do A levels. So the following year, I went on to do my A levels. And again, as you know, I signed up for A levels without having my maths and English GCSE. I just had the equivalent of the 4 that comes under the BTEC. So when I went to do my A levels, they were like, well, you can't do A levels because you don't have your maths and English GCSE. And then we managed to negotiate that they put me on an A level course and that I would do my maths and my English GCSE as a night course because the A level was during the day and I was doing maths and English at night. So at this point, I was like maybe 17, living in a hostel, going to college full time during the day, working like part time in Sainsbury's and spending 2 evenings a week going into college, doing my maths and English whilst all my friends were out doing the Netflix minus the chill. So again, at that point, I just knew at that moment, I'm just doing something I need to do because I need to do it. And then shortly after that, I went on and I did, I started working with volunteering, working with children and young people. That's where I found my passion, did that work for like the longest while. And then I went to university. I did my degree in applied social science, community development and youth work. Turns out, which I didn't know at the time, I was the first person in my family to graduate. So that was actually like a moment. And after doing my degree, I still worked in the field. And then 2016, I launched Charismatic Minds, where you saw the girls. And then after that, I did work with Michael and the crew. And after that, I launched my business. And here we are now. Now, I know that's a lot. And again, if we had more time, usually we'd have an hour, I would be able to really break down different elements. But I think what's really important is my journey's never been straight. My path has never been straight. But one thing that's always been very clear is my heart. There's been times where I've known what I want to do. There's been times where I haven't known what I want to do. I can say a million things to you guys, but if I'm honest, really, really honest, what I'm going to say to you is figure out what you're passionate about. And in order for you to discover your future, you have to know what you enjoy. You have to take full responsibility. You can't be sat there like, oh, the world's got nothing to offer me. COVID's ruined my life. No. Your world is actually a combination of all of the things, the little things you enjoy. So when I say to you now I'm successful, the reason I'm successful now is because my whole world is literally filled with all of the things I enjoy. I enjoy people. So I have a food business which enables me to see people. I enjoy young people. The school kids come every day for lunch, so we get to chop it up at lunch. I enjoy being out in the world. I enjoy having freedom. I get to do that. Yeah. So all of the little things that I enjoy. So I say it because some of you might be sat there thinking, I don't know what I want to do. And it is okay to not know. But it's only okay to not know if you're willing to explore. Don't be I don't know and do nothing. Explore. But also, more importantly, be clear. I used to have one rule, and that was if I start something, I always finish it. Now, the reason why that rule has served me in my life is because, let's be honest, when I went to college and I did business studies, I didn't care about business. I just knew I needed the equivalent of 4 GCSEs. When I went and I did my A-levels, I didn't really care too much about my A-levels. I just knew that I needed that to get to uni. Why I share that is because what you don't want to do is be the person who hops off in the middle. When you hop off in the middle, you're always going to have to go back and start again. So use the time that you guys have. You're only going to do GCSEs once. You don't want to be the person who leaves school going, I flopped my GCSEs and now I got to go back to college. No, you want to do them once and be done for the next thing, because you don't know what the next opportunity is going to present. Your attitude to learning is your attitude to life. You don't have to like education, but you have to love learning, because every single day that you wake up and you go out in the world, you're going to learn something new, and change is inevitable. My path was all the way jagged edged. And again, I haven't even shared with you guys the real truth about this food business and starting with family and ending up on my own and being here where I am now as somebody who fully could not even cook a dish on the planet, to now being in a position where we sell the best jerk chicken in Hackney and everybody comes to us. And that's just because when you start something and you stick at it, even if you don't know where it's going to take you, in the end, you will see the result. So I guess really for you guys, it's just letting you know that COVID was amazing for us in a way that I've never done marketing or anything, right? But in COVID, everything closed and we were the only people that stayed open. So everybody saw us. Do you understand? Consistency is really important. When you do something, how consistent are you with the thing that you're doing? Even if you're not getting the result you want. Me, I was going out there selling one piece of chicken for the day, but I stayed consistent. And in being that way, people continued to see us. And now our sales, even on a quiet day, are very good. Again, I don't know. I have plans for where I want to go and what I want to do with the business. We are going to be the next Nando's, but a Caribbean version. So look out for Caribbean version of Nando's on the high street somehow. But in between that time, I really urge you guys to take full responsibility of what it is you want to do in your life. And on that note, I want you to just repeat after me. Yes, it's affirmations. Yes, it's cheesy, but it works. So on the next slide, and teachers, please encourage the students to get involved. So after me, I am me. I am me. I'm pretending I can hear you. I am me. I am me. I am enough. I will do whatever it takes, and I will never give up. I am me. I am enough. I'll do whatever it takes, and I will never give up. Who's a rapper in the class? Let's run a beat on that one. No, I'm kidding. We've only got a few minutes. So, I mean, that's it from me, guys. I'm Karis Theopane. My pathway continues to, I don't know, it continues. And there's a lot that I don't know what's coming. But one thing I am sure of is that every single one of you watching this video, regardless of what life throws at you, regardless of what happens, you are ultimately in control of your destiny. And if you aim high and you see yourself as great, you will only be great. So I hope you all have a great day. Thank you.
Karis, that was awesome. Thank you so much. I've definitely learned so many new things in your speech. Just absolutely amazing. I've got a couple of questions for you though. What's it like working with family? Because I'm sure there's a lot of students watching thinking, okay, maybe their parents have got a family business, or they're thinking they want to set up a business in the future. What's your advice to working with family? Because it is very different than going to work in sort of more traditional business. What's your advice?
I have to be honest. Everybody says, oh, don't work with family, don't work with family. And I'll be honest, for me, I was like, if I can't work with family, who can I work with? It is a challenge. And the reason it is a challenge is because, you come to work and you can be however you want when you're there, and you leave and they don't really know you. But when it's family, they know you. When it's family, you make a decision that impacts everyone. So my advice would be this: work with family. Don't change the narrative. If you're in a position and your family have got a business and they've got something that they're passing down, or that you've got the opportunity to climb on, do it. Because let me be honest with you guys, I didn't come from business from a place of having some investment, putting money in and watching something grow. I started with nothing. When I bought that van, I had zero. Even to now, I haven't paid myself for 2 years in running my company. But because of my passion, I keep going. So if you do have a family, if your family have got a setup, don't just take advantage and do it because it's the easy thing to do, because you don't want to create your own path. If you're going to do it, really be honest and really be open. See the value of what they've created. See how that's going to benefit you and your family. And take yourself out of it. Sometimes don't think about yourself. Think about how it's going to benefit others. So how does the thing that I do right now benefit the people? And lastly, I will say, be honest. If you're not comfortable with family, that's the truth. We can be honest. So our Sunday dinners turn into business scrap meetings. So it changed. But honestly, since we've gone through the transition, I wouldn't change it for the world. Now my sister comes in and she helps me in the week. My mum, she does the fish. So it was really about finding out what everybody's little bits were, and then just letting that work, rather than the need to feel that everybody needs to do everything, because that's when it got too much.
That's fantastic advice. Thank you. And we've just got another question in. So how did you know the options that were open to you?
To be honest, I didn't. I don't think it was ever clear. If I think back to when I was school age, I was never clear about what I wanted to do. But I understood the structure. So I understood that there was a choice to leave school and go to college. I understood that there was a choice to do apprenticeships, but that actually wasn't going to serve me, because I needed to have an educational background for me in that moment. Now, if I were wanted to be a doctor, the options is quite clear. You get your A-levels, you go uni, you do medicine school, you get there. But there are going to be some paths where actually it's about how much do you explore? What are you looking at? So if you know yourself, I knew that I just didn't want no one telling me what to do. So being at college was an ideal environment for me to work in. And then when I got there, I didn't know what courses was there. I looked at the prospectus with my gunk in my eyes, and I just had to try and figure it out. And every step, I have to be honest, I've not known necessarily that that's going to get me to that. But what I did know is, say, for example, when you do your A-levels, there was no point me quitting at the end of year one, because that's not going to get me to the next place. So even after I'd finished my A-levels, if I wanted to change my direction, it didn't matter, because when I walked into an establishment, they can see I'm educated to A-level standard. So even though it's not medicine, now it can be transferred over. So there's always a transfer. Never see it as separate.
Good advice. And next question below. So if I have no idea what I want to do, how do I decide on my next steps?
Okay. If you have absolutely no idea what you want to do, you have two options. You choose something that you're really interested in and you stick at it. It can be that simple. Choose something that's really, if you're going to go and do A-levels, choose subjects that you're actually interested in. Things that is going to keep you interested, so you can complete those 2 years. And by the end of that time, you're going to know what the next step is. It's going to come. When you chose it, you didn't. But the fact that you would stick it out, is what you would be able to do. Equally, I would say, ask, seek, speak to your mentors, speak to your teachers, speak to other people about what options are available. Like, and write things down. Like, I'll be honest, guys, I do this thing, manifestation. Like, my dreams are wild, yeah. So I will be like, I'll close my eyes and I'll be like, I really want, I don't know, a new member of staff. And then the next day, God sends me a new member of staff. So you don't have to believe in God or anything, but you have to know the power of your thoughts and the power of your words. What you think and what you speak is what comes to fruition. And that's just the reality. I'm only sharing that because that's the only advice I can give. Anything that I think starts to come to fruition. Whatever I speak happens. So do that. Trust yourself.
More good advice like this. So next question. So when COVID hit, did you think you might need to change your own pathway?
Hey, when COVID hit, yeah, honestly, the first time I knew, when COVID hit, I think that's when I actually realized I was on my pathway. So you have to understand, in the February, I'd just taken on a full-time member of staff. And a month later, I just signed a lease for the premises. So we'd signed the contract to say we're going to have this premises for 3 years. And I'd just taken on a full-time member of staff. And a week later, there was COVID. Now, again, I'm talking as somebody who the only money we have is whatever we make today when we open. We don't have like a pot. We were a new business, so we didn't qualify for any of the government money, any funds, any grants available. So when it hit, we was there, and I just said, look, we're just going to have to keep going. We just have to keep going. Like, everyone around us closed and got scared and ran away. I was like, look, okay. At the time we were working 9 to 5 and I was quite enjoying it, because when I was doing van life, like them vans that you guys see, it's hard work. So when I was in the kitchen, I was enjoying 9 to 5. COVID came, we started opening till 8 p.m. COVID came, my weekends were no longer mine. I started opening up on a Saturday, because I was like, if we are going to survive as a business, we just need to be here. And in that moment, I'll be honest with you, the lockdown year, it was a challenge in many ways, but like seeing everybody at home, you know, learning new things and doing interior design and doing all this fancy stuff. I was getting up at 6 a.m. every day, going and doing chicken and coming home. So I had none of that. But what it made me realize was that I was secure, and I was COVID secure. And in that moment, I was secure because the pathway I chose was one that enabled me to continue going. Now, if I was in a situation where I was working for a company and I was made redundant, can you see how my pathway would have changed without my control? But in that moment, that was my confirmation for myself that, do you know what, Karis? You see this, you see this business you've got, regardless of all that trauma and family drama that you had, this is what you're supposed to be doing. And that was like my safety net almost. It was like my place where I could retreat when I didn't want to watch the news and I didn't want to hear all that scary stuff and I didn't want to be in that space. I wanted to see brighter days. And every day I would come in, water my plants and just get on with it. Literally. And I'll be honest, we didn't know what was going to happen, but a year later, like here now, everybody's reopened, and I am beyond thankful because I'm seeing major companies go bankrupt, big major companies that have been around for years. And, you know, my little chicken spot is just getting hotter and hotter. More and more people are coming. It's like Hackney's little best known secret. And that's been just because of word of mouth and our genuine heart to just come out every day, you know?
Yeah. I love that. And next question for you. So how scared were you at every new step, and how did you overcome those fears and some of those nerves as well?
I'm always scared. Honestly, I was shit scared when I came on today. Sorry, my language. I'm always scared, honestly. But there's a book and it's written by Susan Jeffers. Susan Jeffers. Teachers, please let the kids get the Amazon link for this book. And the book is called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway. Feel the fear and do it anyway. And when I read that book, I realized, look, Karis, it's a big, scary world out here. Especially, it feels scary when you have to make the decisions, yeah? So I was like, look, I'm always going to be scared. But if I'm going to let that stop me, it means I'm never going to live a life. It means I'm going to have ill health. I'm going to be unhappy and I'm not going to be in control. And then COVID can happen. Boris can tell you, like, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, and you're stuck. Yeah. COVID came, I traveled, I did all of those things. So in your moments when you're scared the most, in the moments when you're most unsure, hold on to that fear, deep breathe, and do it anyway. Just do it. Because you know what? What's the worst that could happen? I could not cook, guys. I couldn't cook. I didn't want to be a cook. I just wanted to be a businesswoman who had people working for her. That was the vision. And here I was having to just go back to basics. And I'll be honest, it's been like 2 years now. And every single day when I rock up to the kitchen and I go and open up my grill and then customers come back, I'm still scared. Every time you put out a plate, you're still scared, thinking, are they going to like it? Are they going to like it? Does it taste like yesterday? Is it the same? Even though they've come back every day this week, you're still convinced that there's something that's going to be wrong. So all I would say is literally, even when you're unsure, stick at it. Just do it. Like Nike says, just do it. Because all the people you guys sit down on Instagram and watch living up their best life, doing up influencer, all of these things, influencer was never even a thing. That was just a girl, a random person who just thought, nah, I want to video my life. And now they've made that something. So that's not to say like go and inspire to be an influencer. And I say that because not to trash influencers. That's just to say that you guys are more than that. You're the most creative generation. Like you are the generation that's been through the most. You guys' eyes need to be wide open, but you're the most distracted as well. So whilst there's so much opportunity in terms of technology and change, you guys got your blinkers on because social media is clouding everything. Just be open and be honest. That is a vehicle that you can use to get you from A to B. If you see somebody on there, it's not always the truth that they're showing you. So you should never allow that to be the thing that makes you feel insecure. I've actually taken my Instagram off my phone as of last week, because I realized I'll just go on, I'm having a look, and even me, I'm looking at people and then I'm not actually doing what I'm meant to be doing. Somewhere in my subconscious, it's making me feel a bit like, oh, maybe I can't post that. No, post what you want, do what you want, but do it within reason. Be clear about what it is that you're doing, why you want to do it. If you're not sure, just ask somebody. But when you guys like get past your GCSEs and you're doing an A-level, if all of a sudden you don't like the A-level no more, don't quit. You don't have the right to quit. Finish it. Because once you've finished it, right out, then you can switch to the next thing that you want to do. And you're not having to go back and start from the beginning. So just realize that there's a window of opportunity. And the windows of opportunity come at different times. And for me, my path weren't clear. I didn't know. But I've always stayed open, knowing a bit of what I want to do and just looking at the unconventional ways of getting there. And if I can't go straight, I'm going to go left, I'm going to go right, I might reverse, but I'm going to go back again. I hardly ever reverse, to be honest, but sometimes you might need to reverse. And if you do, that's okay. Take a pause and go again. And don't judge, don't measure yourself on what everyone else is looking at. Like, honestly, really get to know who you are. Use the time that you are young now to really figure out who you are and what you stand for. Because when you're clear about who you are and what you stand for, your path, what you want to do, everything else will come very naturally. If you're not clear about that, everything's always going to be a problem for you.
Oh, good advice, Karis. And one last question for you. So obviously we've got summer coming up. Students will be off, thankfully, enjoying the summer. Now, let's say they're in London. Where can they find you if they want some of the best chicken around?
Come to Hackney. So if you are in London, we're in Hackney, 1 Atkin Square, Dalston Lane. So that building that I showed you is actually a community centre. Again, when you come there, you will see I've built a cafe/restaurant within a community centre. So it's not actually a proper shop or a proper restaurant space. I've literally taken over the kitchen in the community centre and like divided it I didn't have pictures for the inside, and kind of made our own thing. So if you're in Hackney, Dalston Lane, come. On the next slide, I think it's got our social media details. If your teachers are happy for you to follow us, I'm happy for you to follow us on Instagram. I don't post too much because I'm busy. So if any of you are social media experts and you want to jump on and do some stuff for JFB, then let me know. We'll be happy to have you. But yeah, just follow on Instagram. DM I'm happy for you guys to DM me, ask me questions anytime. If school allow it, whatever you need to know, like, I'm here for it. Do the JFB Instagram though, because the Charismatic Wines one I haven't been on for a while. JFB Instagram's on my phone. So if you send a direct message, I will get it. And in terms of the future, yeah, just, I guess, look out for us. I'm trying to be, Nando's is my competitor. So I'm trying to be on the high street with Nando's, have an amazing jerk sauce that I'm trying to get in the shop. Because, you know, Levi Roots was the only little old Caribbean man to get his sauce in the shops. And I didn't really like it. But it motivated me because even though I personally didn't like the sauce, I love the brand and everything he stands for. So that is like the angle. I don't have 100,000 investment like he did, but I got a kitchen and I make my own sauce. So I guarantee you somehow it should be on your Tesco shelf up in Ipswich or wherever else you live.
Oh, good stuff. And Karis, thank you so much for joining us for this keynote. I feel inspired, so the students must be feeling amazing. So huge thank you for joining us.
Thank you guys. Yeah, shame I'm not going to give you like big hugs, so we'll just do like a big group hug and just, yeah, we're here if you need anything. Again, what you think, what you feel is what you become. It's all in the mind. Take control of your thoughts, because in this world, COVID and everything, you're not in control of nothing else. If it's the only thing you're in control of, it's your thoughts. Be smart, think smart, and aim high, guys.
Good advice. Thanks, folks. See you later.
Take care. Bye-bye.